they sent some of the Pharisees and Herodians to Jesus to catch him in his words. They came to him and said, "Teacher, we know you are a man of integrity. You aren't swayed by men because you pay no attention to who they are, but you teach the way of God in accordance with the truth. Is it right to pay taxes to Caesar or not? Should we pay or shouldn't we?" But Jesus knew their hypocrisy. Why are you trying to trap me?" he asked. "Bring me a denarius and let me look at it." They brought the coin, and he asked them, "Whose portrait is that, and whose inscription?" Caesar's, they replied. Then Jesus said, "Give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what is God's." And they were amazed at him. Then the Sadducees, who say there is no resurrection, came to him with a question. "Teacher," they said, Moses wrote for us that if a man's brother dies and leaves a wife but no children, the man must marry the widow and have children for his brothers. Now there were 7 brothers. The first one married and died without leaving any children. The second one married the widow, but he also died, leaving no child. It was the same with the third. In fact, none of the 7 left any children. Last of them, the woman died too. At the resurrection, whose wife will she be, since the 7 were married to her?" Jesus replied, "Are you not in error because you do not know the scriptures of the power of God? When the dead rise, they will neither marry nor be given in marriage. They will be like the angels in heaven. Now about the dead rising. Have you not read in the book of Moses, in the account of the bush, how God said to him, 'I am the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob.' He is the God of the dead, but of the living. You are badly mistaken."
Why do you insist on following this man?
I've told you, Abby, Jesus is not a troublemaker. I know you've only seen what happened at the temple, but I assure you that he is someone special.
You keep on insisting that if I see him, I'll change my mind. But, I don't mean to doubt you, but you can't deny the evidence I've seen. And it is evidence of a troublemaker. There's talk of this all over town. This crowd may have been cheering when you saw him, but the tide seems to be turning. That money changer may have been right. Your Jesus may have crossed a line.
He is not my Jesus. I must admit I am bewildered by what has taken place in the temple. Despite that, I am certain that once you see him, you will agree. Jesus isn't just for me. He is for you too. I think he may just be for everyone, though some may never admit it.
It is Passover week, and I'm going to humor you, alright? We can go find this Jesus and hear what he is saying. I must insist in one condition, though.
What is your condition?
Please watch your tone. Please watch your tone. I am being quite reasonable. When I find him, I am sure there will be a crowd around. His kind always draws a crowd. My condition is this. We will stay toward the back of the crowd. That way, if any trouble arises, we will not be caught up into it. Do you have your word? Do I have your word?
I can accept your condition. All that I ask is that you give him a fair hearing. You have not dampened my enthusiasm for this man.
That was never my intention.
I'm telling you, Deshaun, that question is not complex enough. Yours is no better. We cannot ask questions related to the prophets. On that, I agree. He is far too knowledgeable to be trapped with any questions about the writing. We must attack his weakness. There must be a character flaw we can't expect. I have seen none in the days I have observed him. All the reports we have received show no weaknesses in his character or his knowledge. He speaks the authority and truthfulness.
He has never told a lie or even twisted the truth.
He has never been known to.
Then we have found it, his weakness. If he is unable to lie, then we must ask him a question that honestly answered will cause him to lose favor with the people.
Brilliant! No one identifies the exploit's weakness better than you.
Thank you, but we are only halfway there. What sort of question will get him in trouble?
If you want him in trouble with the crowd, we should ask him a question that makes him support Rome.
That's good, but then he could go to Polite for protection.
Then we must ask him a question that gets him in trouble with Rome.
And there's a lot railing behind him. That may be even worse.
I fear we are back. We are back where we started.
Not yet. How about a question that will upset everyone, no matter how he answers? A question that will upset Rome or the people that way he will have nowhere to turn, and we will have support for his arrest.
I can think of only one issue that could upset everyone equally.
Taxes! I told you those races would fail.
Why do you say that?
Does that look like a victory march to you?
They are too fancy with their questions. It should be obvious to everyone that you can't play word games with this man.
You're right. The direct approach is the best. We will engage him in a theological debate with his foolishness will be apparent to everyone. He has given us the perfect opening.
Every time I hear him speak of heaven, I can barely contain my laughter.
Such an outrageous notion that there is life after death. He will create an entire following of lazy good for nothing, who are simply waiting to die so they can spend forever in heaven.
And even if there was life after death, what could you spend an eternity doing?
Exactly. Even on the face of it, you can see that it is foolishness.
Scenario is a master stroke. It is simple to see that if we follow the laws as they are written, we will be in an absolute mess if there's a heaven.
That's why the marriage question is such as a good one. The words of Moses insist that a brother's widow must marry another brother. We've just applied the rule to a large and unfortunate family. It may be an unlikely situation, but not an impossible one.
The only suspense that remains is whether or not you will let him squirm before you finish him off.
My joy will be complete when the hysteric is discredited and disgraced. Mistaken, I am mistaken, and then to dismiss me like that, like a peasant, I will show him who is mistaken.
He made a big mistake crossing you, my friend. They are very angry at Elias.
I must admit, I have never seen one man upset so many people in so short a time. Perhaps you are right.
Right about what?
Maybe this Jesus is going to bring trouble.
That may be, but I say that you were right about him too. It's unlike any men I have ever met. He confronted those Pharisees and Sadducees, but with such ease, such authority. My only fear is that the trouble he brings will fall on him, and they will not take this embarrassment lightly.
He is collecting a series of offenses that I'm sure will not go unpunished.
Offenses, yes, but the offended deserved it.
Not so loudly, Abigail. There are ears everywhere in this city.
But did you see them? Jesus may have offended them, but I do not find him offensive in the least. Now, I know what you mean.
You mean about what?
About having my attitude changed by seeing our Jesus.
Our Jesus?
I'm still not interested in getting into trouble, but this is a man I could learn to appreciate. He is honest, forthright, and bold. If he survives the week in Jerusalem, we may have to plan a trip to Galilee. I would like to hear more from our Jesus.